While politics can often divide, the state of Florida has seen unity around an unexpected issue: the environment. The Everglades are essential to millions of state residents. Our Catholic faith calls us to be good stewards of the earth, and in South Florida, correspondent Mark Irons found people working to preserve God's creation.
What's going to happen if we use all the resources and we don't protect them?
We're fighting each and every day to protect what's left.
The Everglades in South Florida make up the largest subtropical wilderness in the United States. Views from the air or water give you a sense of the magnitude and majesty of the region. Bursting with plant and animal life, it's a vast aquatic ecosystem, and millions of people depend on it.
We're told there are many reasons to protect and preserve the Everglades. It's a crucial habitat for rare and endangered species. But it's not just about the animals that call this place home. Right now, we're surrounded by a major source of drinking water for the people that call Florida home.
The Everglades is the source of drinking water for a third of the state population. So it's desperately important that we address the challenges.
Eric Eichenberg, the CEO of the Everglades Foundation, an advocacy group focused on science and education, says preserving this grassy freshwater oasis is even more important when you consider its history. Most of it is gone.
We have about a third of it left, and that's because of development here in the state of Florida.
For thousands of years, freshwater moved south from central Florida through lakes, rivers, and channels, replenishing the Everglades. But that natural flow was significantly altered beginning in the late 1800s. With calls to drain the swamp, water was redirected to the east and west coasts to make room for massive development projects. And in the process, 2/3 of the Everglades was wiped out, wreaking havoc on a wildlife refuge and drying up much of a critical water source.
These are man-made issues that we're trying to address.
For decades now, ongoing engineering projects to return the flow of fresh water back to the south have been underway to try and fix some of the problems created in the past.
This generation now is ensuring that we save what's left and then we pass that on to the next generation.
What's happening in South Florida calls to mind something that St. John Paul II spoke about when he was Pope: the relationship between human activity and the whole of creation. In a 1990 address to celebrate the World Day of Peace, he said, "We cannot interfere in one area of the ecosystem without paying due attention both to the consequences of such interference in other areas and to the well-being of future generations."
If we're going to develop the land, we need to be able to do it with wisdom. We want to care for the created order because God cares for it, because he's holding it in existence at every single moment.
Biology professor Brett Fager at Ave Maria University in South Florida says protecting the Everglades or other natural environments has a spiritual dimension.
If we don't have these places for ourselves and for future generations, then you're kind of robbing people of the ability to experience the Creator in his creation.
Dr. Evelyn Geiser can relate to that idea. An aquatic ecologist at Florida International University, she's Lutheran and grew up exploring the outdoors.
For me, it's always been a way of experiencing my faith and the incredible wonder of creation.
Now, Geiser has spent almost 3 decades conducting scientific research in the Everglades. She says the fresh water builds up the soil and vegetation here, creating a natural buffer against tropical storms and the rising sea levels caused by climate change. Geiser says the saltwater intrusion harms the vegetation growth and soil buildup, which is why directing more fresh water into the region is essential.
Bringing more fresh water into the Everglades, allow them to continue building soils, maintaining that buffer both against sea level rise and against tropical storms.
Following St. John Paul II, Pope Benedict XVI echoed the environmental concerns of his predecessor. In 2010, he drew attention to the global water cycle system, which is of prime importance for life on Earth and whose stability could be seriously jeopardized by climate change. A pope, professor, or scientist could all share concerns about different environmental issues, In the end, people might still divide along political lines.
No matter what side of the aisle you walk on, we need to protect these ecosystems.
In Florida, Everglades restoration has enjoyed bipartisan support. Eichenberg says the state economy relies on fresh water, and people see the necessity of preserving it.
When they turn on their tap, take a shower, recreate in their pool, wash their car, that water is coming from America's Everglades.
At the state and federal level, Republicans and Democrats have taken action. Most recently, Governor Ron DeSantis announced $850 million to Everglades restoration projects in the state budget. Previously, President Joe Biden announced $1.1 billion for restoration in his infrastructure bill. Future generations will depend on the Everglades.
I think it's important that as Catholics, our children learn the importance of protecting our earth, our environment.
St. Michael the Archangel Grade School in Miami is one of many schools in South Florida that teamed up with the Everglades Foundation to incorporate educational lesson plans into the classroom. But the principal, Lisette Reyna Naranjo, was surprised to learn they were the only Catholic school that signed up.
I thought, wow, I wonder why none of the Archdiocese schools have ever even thought of doing that.
Following the lead of the two popes before him, Pope Francis says we need to care for creation, especially since innocent human lives are at stake. In 2015, he wrote, "In fact, the deterioration of the environment and of society affects the most vulnerable people on the planet." Mark Irons, EWTN News In Depth.